what happened last session. The party, after having fended off bandits and, investigating the broken down cart, they made their way down the road to a farmstead, which was owned by a couple which was a dragonborn named Kurgil and a bugbear named Agiath, who welcomed them all into their home to stay the night as they planned to rest there before heading into Valgard, since they did not want to traverse the roads at night, considering it might be dangerous between bandits or monsters or what have you. When morning came, however, and after chatting it over with Sturkin, he assured them that he would most likely be alright continuing to Valgard, considering the city wasn't too far away, and Agiath assured them that she would go with him. So the party instead decided to backtrack to the forest that they had been intending to investigate after hearing about an overabundance of anima coming out of it, causing the plants and trees and that to wither. On the way to the forest, they ran into Autumn and Atian at their wagon, where they learned Sturkin isn't great.
Damn it, Sturkin.
We were
bamboozled.
Yeah, we got schmeckeldorfed.
Schmeckeldorfed.
But yes, they found out from Autumn that he's a shady character with potential ties to the Thieves Guild that went off to Valgard with all the stuff they took off the wagon.
It's always a sorry, Tove.
Aw.
I'm sorry, Tove.
Yeah. But despite that, they decided they would catch up to him later and go back towards Drake Mound to continue along to the forest and also to perhaps gather some evidence and whatnot that might help them track him down in Valgard. So the party did go briefly into the forest and immediately left as almost everyone seemed to pass out, with plans to seek out Yavari's friend Valza in Drake Mound to see if she might have a potion or something to help out. Upon entering Drake Mound, however, the group was arrested, as they were now wanted criminals due to their association with Sturkin, who was now apparently a prime suspect in an assassination attempt against the Queen. Thankfully, Taffy, with an amazing dirty 20 roll, managed to evade detection and slipped away while the rest of the party was thrown into jail. Typical rogue shenanigans.
Typical road. Listen, I couldn't go to jail, man. I got a reputation to uphold.
Yeah, really? The group was taken off to jail by Captain Vamtis.
No, that's not his name.
It's supposed to be.
That's not his name.
Captain Bumpkus.
That's right.
Bumpkus, apparently. Oh, God. But by the captain, they got grilled as to, how they knew Sturkin and all this other hullabaloo, before eventually the mayor comes in, scolding the captain like he's a child, and making a deal with the party that if they help them track down Sturkin and bring him to justice, they will pardon them from any undue suspicion, which the party agrees to. However, we're going to backtrack a little where we start today, as we have a cat we must get caught up with.
All right. So he throws up his hood. He's looking around, and as everyone's walking off to the jail, he's like, all right. So he thinks for a second. He's like, okay, I'm Drakengard, and then he remembers, that's right. I think there's a contact here we have. So he goes to where he kind of remembers where Gwen is. Kind of raps on the door a little bit. He's looking around, making sure no one's like looking down at him or anything like that.
Mhm.
You're just sort of waiting for a response.
Okay.
It's like, Gwen, are you there? You home, Gwen?
So as you're knocking at the door and trying to get the attention of Gwen from inside, you hear some like shuffling around inside, and a voice calls, "Oh, what do you want?" And footsteps to the door before the door opens, and you are greeted by a male human, average height, really average of looks. There's nothing really outstanding about him.
Nothing for him to be smug about.
From what you know, Taffy, the description you were given otherwise of him was he dresses in colorful clothing and has an ego bigger than a dragon.
Oh boy.
Which probably seems rather evident as he opens the door and he looks at you for a moment before this wide smirk like spreads across his face, and he leans against the doorway with his arms over his chest, and he's like, "Ah, look what the cat dragged in."
Oh, puns. I get it. Real funny guy. Yeah, so like, I normally wouldn't, Padlock Guild normally wouldn't, would bother you or anything like that. But I'm kind of in a pickle right now, and I just need. It kind of looks to the left and the right. It's like, I just gotta just lay low for a second. You mind if I, come in?
Yeah, I heard you and your buddies are wanted criminals. Don't think the guildmaster would like that much.
Yeah, well, okay, listen, it's not what you think it is. Listen, the Padlock Guild members, we get caught up in stuff all the time. People trying to drag our names through the mud and all that stuff. You know how it is. But I can't really prove my innocence from the inside of a jail cell.
Yeah, And he's just kind of like nodding along, like he probably doesn't entirely believe Taffy. But eventually he just like rolls his eyes and he steps aside as he motions you in. He's like, "All right, whatever, just get in here."
Oh, my friend. And he just like pats him on the shoulder. He's like, oh, I knew you. Padlock Guild never forgets a favor, right? As he's like rushing himself into the house.
All right, so you go inside. It's like a nice little comfy house, very cozy, probably only about like 2 or 3 rooms really in total. It's very well kept.
So real quick question. You wouldn't happen to know anything about a Sturkin, would you?
Sturkin? I mean, I've seen him around. He doesn't really interact much with the rest of the folk around here. Kind of keeps to himself. Always thought he was a little shady.
Oh yeah, shady is putting it real nicely. Yeah, see, he's kind of become my problem, and I really need to solve that problem. And in fact, I kind of need to, track him down. So if you happen to know where he might be going, I think,
Yeah,
I assume he's on his way to Valgarn, but yeah, I can't really make assumptions. So I just wanted to do you have any hideouts? Does he have any contacts? Do you happen to know anyone in town that might know who he is that I could persuade to give me a little bit more information on him?
He kind of takes a moment to think. Nothing's really coming to mind. I know he's got his own little house on the eastern part of town. It's a little thing, stands out by itself. I think it's got a little farm patch next to it. Kind of hard to miss.
That seems promising.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say you definitely might want to check that out, see if you can find any, I don't know, evidence to help clear your name, or I guess seal the nail in the coffin for him.
Well, considering I have no other leads, that's a start. So I guess then my next question is, what do you know about the jail?
And he takes a moment and he's like, I don't know. I might need something to help refresh my memory.
So Taffy freezes in his tracks, and he's like, kind of, he kind of like clenches. He's he just like was like flexing his fingers. He's like opening and closing his hands, and he's like, right. I'm well familiar with jogging memories, as it were. Let me just see here, and he's just I've got just the thing for that. The perfect medicine for all kinds of memory related issues. And he pulls out 5 gold coins, and he kind of just sets down the table.
Gwen just like nods. He's like, yeah, that'll do it. I think I'm remembering now. And he like swiftly takes the money and like stashes it away in his pocket. Well, from what I know, with how few guards there are in this sort of, little place, usually the back of the jail, I think, is pretty unguarded. And if rumor is to be believed, most of the locks on the jail windows are actually of padlock design.
So Taffy's like, nuts. All right. He's starting to, taking stock of everything. He's drawing his map, putting question mark trees next to the jail. He's sitting there like, okay, he's got Sturkin's house marked on the map somewhere to the east. And he's like, so my friend Gwen here, how influential? You look like a pretty influential guy. You seem to like, people, everyone in town, right?
Oh, I mean, I do make a habit of getting to know everyone that comes through here.
Oh, excellent. You seem like the kind of guy that's just everyone's friend. I mean, you're just such a swell dude. I haven't even met you more than 5 minutes. You're just like the best. I mean, you're just helping me out over here.
Oh, well, thank you. I do try my best.
And so,
which isn't hard.
I mean, I know. It just looks like comes completely naturally to you. And he pulls out 3 more gold coins, and he's like, you know what? And he like kind of runs over and is like, oh, where are my manners? Like, I didn't even introduce myself. I don't know if you happen to know me, but I'm Taffy with the Padlock Guild. And he goes over to shake Gwen's hand, right?
Okay.
And he holds his paw out, and he's got 3 gold coins in it, right? And he's waiting for a return handshake.
Gwen will, take his hand and say, yeah, I think the guild masters mentioned you once or twice.
Oh, excellent.
You already know me, but name's
of course.
Gwen.
Yeah. Excellent. And such a fantastic fellow Gwen would be really business partners in the future, right? Making sure you're scratching my back. I want to make sure I scratch your back in the future. But that might be a little hard to do if I can't come back to Drakengard, if you know what I'm saying. So like what would be real nice though if these wanted posters happen to disappear, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, I get your meaning. Don't worry, I'll get it taken care of.
Oh, Gwen, you're such a pal, my lad. And he kind of pats him on the shoulder. Make sure that the 3 gold coins are he relinquishes them to Gwen. Excellent. And just to make sure, my friends, my compadre, my traveling companions, they make sure to that I'm all nice and prim and proper when we travel from town to town. It would also be real great if their wanted posters happen to have a disappearing act as well.
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
Excellent. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I'll just go ahead and unless you got any extra information for me, I'll go ahead and pack up and get ready to, check out Sturkin's house while I wait for nightfall.
You might just want to hang out here for now until nightfall.
Oh, sounds like a plan then. I hate to crash on your couch or anything like that. You don't happen to have, let's call it extra supplies, maybe a stash, something you keep around for, rainy days.
Yeah,
maybe climbing hooks, You know, maybe some caltrops, you know, some stuff like that.
He nods. He's like, "Oh, I think I got some stuff around here I can lend you." And he gets up and like goes over to this little like cabinet he's got set up in the side, and he opens it. And he pulls out like this rather hefty box that, as he pulls it out, you can hear like a lot of stuff just kind of rattling around in it. And he cracks the lid open, and you see there's pretty much an assortment of just about anything you'd want, between rope and hooks for hooking the ropes on, and there's probably some bags of caltrops in there. There's what look to be maybe a few rations as well, some changes of clothes, really about anything you might want.
Excellent.
Help yourself.
Gwen, my friend, my man. Oh, you are a lifesaver right now.
So with nightfall, eventually, Gwen, tells Taffy to just hang out for a bit, and he leaves to go and help uphold his side of the bargain.
Excellent.
He does eventually return, and he's got a bit of a frown on his face as he tells Taffy, "Well, you may just want to try heading to the prison. Looks like all the guards have got Sturkin's house pretty locked up tight."
Right. Well, that's unfortunate. I might have to come back at a later date. Right. I guess my only lead now is to go to the Valgard. Maybe I can catch him there. Assuming that's where he went. If he's even still there. All right. Well, I do appreciate it, Gwen. If I happen to get in jail, don't worry. We never met. Hopefully next time we meet, it will be less stressful. And of course, this conversation never took place.
Of course. I don't even know who you are.
Of course, exactly. Hopefully everything goes well. Well, Gwen, I appreciate all you've done. And I will hopefully talk to you later. And with that, he kind of puts his hood up.
Good luck out there.
And he nods, and he carefully starts to slink over to the jail. Okay, so first thing he does is, and he has abilities for this, but he can, he's going to climb up this first tree, seeing that this whole side of the prison is clear. Climbs up this tree, looks into the window, into this cell first off. And of course, he doesn't see anyone there. I don't know, because they're like down here somewhere, right? The party.
Yeah, I mean they are kind of out of their cells, kind of more in the hall at this point. You do have dark vision. I'm
gonna say that he can't quite, he can't make out who's over here. He's like, oh shit, they're like guards, right?
It's like a whole bunch of people, yeah.
Like, yikes. All right, so he's like, all right, this cell's clear. So he climbs back down, and he comes over here, and he's like, well, poop. There's no tree for this one, so he's gonna pull out his hook and get his rope ready to go, and he's gonna chuck it up.
It's a little loud, and you hear movement from inside the cell, as if someone might have been a little startled.
It's like crap. He's gonna climb up real quickly, and go up to the window. He's like, hey, listen, I don't know who's in here, but shh, be quiet. As he kind of peeks over the window, hoping it's not a guard in the cell.
And as he speaks, there is a figure standing inside who looks over towards the window. She says, What are you doing out there?"
So he stares at her for a minute, and he's like, wait a minute. And he squints. Just looks right at her.
She'll move a little closer, like trying to also figure out who the hell is hanging outside of her window right now.
It's like, you don't happen to be the mayor, do you?
And she blinks and just kind of stares at him for a moment before saying, yeah, I mean, gosh, I didn't think anyone would still remember me.
Oh, man, it's not important. Listen, we can catch up, or I can introduce. We can talk later. Listen,
Hey.
I'm here looking for a couple of we'll call them some fellow residents of the jail. You didn't happen to notice any I don't know, big bird, couple of tieflings, or a drow, human? Are they here?
And she like looks back towards her cell door, and then she like sneaks up as close to the window as she can, just to avoid the guard outside her cell. And she drops her voice down like as low as she can, and she says, "I'm not sure if it's your friends, but I have been hearing a lot of commotion and some yelling from the captain. I think it might be them. There's quite a few of them, but I haven't gotten a good look."
Right. Okay. They're being interrogated? God, what the heck? All right. Okay. All right. How about this? I'll cut you a deal.
Mm-hmm.
You want to create me a distraction. Get all the guards up into your cell, right? So I can bust my friends out. Since they're at the front right now, I've got to move fast. In exchange, I'll pop these bars open and you can escape and give you the things you need to escape. You don't know who I am. You never met me. Deal?
She thinks it over for a moment, like really just staring Taffy down as if like just trying to get a read on him. But eventually she nods her head and she says, "Very well.
All right.
I've been cramped in here far too long."
Gotcha. All right, perfect. Here's what I'm gonna do. Pop these locks, and then he hands some extra rope to her, he kind of like stands, gets himself propped up against the window so he can like pull up the rope and then sort of push it into the cell so it's on her side.
Mm-hmm.
You can use this to escape once I get this done. Take this bag of caltrops, and when the guards aren't looking, put it in front of the door. All right. That way, when they run in, they'll stumble through and stumble around and everything. In fact, take this bag of marbles and mix them in. This should keep them distracted. Then, I don't care what you do, as long as you can get everyone into your cell. Okay.
All right, I'll do my best.
Okay. Also, here's some smoke bombs. So he hands like a smoke bomb to her as well.
Mm-hmm.
This might help. I don't, use it at your own discretion. And so then wait about 10 seconds after I leave, once I unlock these windows, and then do what you're gonna do. All right? All right, you ready?
I think so.
All right,
She's kind of like looking at everything in her hands.
10 minutes. So then he kind of pushes the windows open, and then he drops down. He's going to run down here.
Okay.
As quietly as he can. Now, I don't really know how I'm going to get into the front. Oh, there's a window right there. Oh, baby.
There is, yeah.
Hold on. Give me a second. There we go. Gonna zip up over here. And he's going to kind of, can he peek through how high is this window off the ground?
That one's probably pretty low because that's kind of getting into the not cell area, so it's not really a window of concern for the guard.
So he's gonna peek around the corner and like listen in, see what's going on.
There's a couple people kind of milling about in this room. There's a dragonborn that looks rather irritated and agitated, grumbling something to the nearby guard. But you can otherwise hear voices as well drifting in from the hallway that's probably just out of sight from where you're looking in. So then we go back to our party.
I have just created problems for everybody. I'm so sorry.
It's going to be fantastic. All right. I would just love to thank you all for agreeing to help. And again, I am so sorry about what happened earlier. It's I always tell him to not get in over his head.
And can Taffy hear any of this?
Yeah, because they're not really trying to talk quietly, and they're only like 20 feet away.
Okay.
So you could hear this all probably pretty well.
It's like, wait a minute.
Yavari kind of looks skittishly around, and she's like, yeah, whatever. Can we just please get out, like, right now? That'd be so fabulous.
Oh, yes, of course. I would recommend if you all would like to, gather any evidence or investigate things for yourselves. Sturkin's house is on the east side of town.
Oh my god!
I asked for some guards to keep an eye on it, just in case he tried to come back or any of his own companions. But they will let you in if you ask. Otherwise, I'd say just speak with the townsfolk. I'm sure someone will know something that could help you all out.
Sounds good enough for me.
Sounds like a plan, at least. Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Yeah. All right, very well. And she'll lead you all out into this smaller room here. Is there anything else I can do for you all, or anything really to help repay our mistakes here?
I mean, you could give us some money.
I can have that arranged if you require funds for your travel.
It's like,
I just want to get out of here, fam. I just want to leave.
Puts his hand on Yavari's shoulder to kind of be like, wait a minute. He's like,
wait a minute.
yeah, actually, I could have sworn that we probably had a little bit more money when we first got here. I think the scuffle probably had some of it fall out. It'd be great if you could replace that.
Oh, yes, of course. And she thinks it over for a moment. I'll have to go to my home to see what I have, and if you meet me at the tavern later, I will give you what should be adequate for making up what was lost and whatever you might need to make your way to Valgard safely.
She'll go ahead and walk up to the mayor and extend her hand and shake the mayor's hand and say, again, thank you so much for being understanding of our situation, and helping us out here. You know, as law-abiding citizens, we would really like to just to help you and to not, obviously we thank you. We thank you.
Taffy has his head buried in his hands. Just wait, because he can't stop it now. He's just waiting for the
Taffy, if Taffy makes Tove look bad.
Oh no, Taffy's
over.
like, I had nothing to do with anything, all right? He's gonna pretend nothing happened.
As Jira is shaking Tove's hand, all of a sudden you hear a voice shouting from deeper in the jail saying, "Fire! Fire!" And all of a sudden you see the captain perk up and he's like, "Fire? What in the hell?" And he and the guard quickly vanish down the hallway, kind of like pushing you guys aside a little bit to get through. And Jira sees this and says, "Oh dear, well, you all better go on ahead before anything else happens, and Fenton will be escorting along with you all to just keep an eye on things, so he'll just tag along, and you are welcome to have him help in any way you need."
Taffy's gonna sprint. He's gonna try and meet up with them halfway through. Like, oh hey guys.
Oh, are we headed the same way?
I was like, I was just heading on to Sturkin's house to investigate it, but I didn't want to get caught. What are you guys doing out here? I thought you were arrested. Oh man.
Oh man.
How'd you get out of that one?
As you come out, you can still hear a lot of like shouting and a commotion behind you, and if you happen to glance back, you'll see there's like an odd amount of smoke coming out of one of the cells. The guards are panicking and they don't seem to know what's going on, but they leave you guys alone as you make your way back out into Drakemount. And Taffy comes and catches up with you guys. And
He's like,
oh,
so he kind of peeks out from behind the tree. He's like, hey guys, you okay? What's going on?
He kind of hears the footsteps, probably before anyone else does. Turns his head just in time to see, Tabby standing there, stammering, asking how they're going on, like, what's going on. And the first thing he says is like, oh man, yeah, we were in there, no thanks to you.
Listen, I was trying to get you guys out. I was trying to come up with a plan or something. But I figured you'd be in there for like a longer time. By the way, did you know that like Sturkin has a house nearby? I was gonna go see if I could dig up any dirt, but this place has been locked down pretty tight. I can't help when I'm in jail,
And you haven't been inside the house? So then what have you done to help?
Well, I did get a good friend of mine to get those wanted posters removed out. Though it looks like you might have already taken care of that little problem.
So how much did you bribe him? How much money did you waste?
Listen, can you really put a price on friendship?
Ugh, don't get sentimental.
All right, it was about 8 gold. But hopefully, I can get some of this heat taken off of us. And then he kind of looking between everyone, noticing the lack of guards. Like, though I may have prematurely taken action, it seems.
we'll go with Yavari and Narcellis. So the party agrees to split up for now, and probably meet back up later at the tavern and do whatever it is they need to do. Now you guys on your way to Val's house. You happen to cross paths with an interesting duo. The larger one of which being a dragonborn, nearly running into you guys as he doesn't seem to notice where he's going. He's joined by a green-haired. Oh gosh, was she an elf, Baylor, or half elf?
She's a half elf.
Half elf. Okay, I don't remember. By a green-haired half elf, and they stop, and the dragonborn blinks with a very just unwavering expression, and he says, "Sorry."
I guess.
The half elf looks between the two of them and says, "Oh, my apologies. I didn't even see you two there. Oh, are you going to the potion seller's house? She's quite the lovely person."
Yeah, she's very talented in her craft.
Yes, I was striking her up in a conversation in regards to Anima. As you see, my friend here and we're here to study said Anima and survey the area. I've heard there's been many strange things going on here.
Yeah, that's something that she points between herself and Narcellis. Yeah, something that we've noticed, and if there's anyone who can help us, it would be Volza.
Oh, so you too are interested in the forest, are you?
Yavari is eyeing the pair very suspiciously, and she's like, yeah, you could say that.
Well,
why are you so interested in the forest?
Well, because of the overabundance of Anima, of course, as she reaches into her pocket and she pulls out what looks to be an Anima shard. And she says, "Boot and I have been doing our own research into Anima, as it were, as I'm very curious as to how it crystallizes in this form. It's been around for such a long time, yet no one seems to really understand how it happens. And, well, hearing about all the strange things going on in the forest, I was naturally curious, being the scholar that I am."
Interesting. And what did you say your name was again?
"Oh, my name is Julie, and this here is my companion, Boot." And Boot has just been silent this entire time.
Boot.
Just
Julie
yes,
and Boot. Just the one?
What do you mean you don't know how it forms?
Well, I have been all across Tenadia at this point. I'm planning a trip soon to Idfu, as I understand their library there is quite spectacular. But from the many researchers I've spoken with, the manner in which anima crystallizes is still mostly unknown as to why it does this when normally well, it exists, but it's not usually perceivable by the naked eye.
So, what exactly were your plans regarding this forest then? We had someone ask us to go in and check it out.
Oh, did you? Well, I would say certainly go speak with the potion seller. We did grab a couple of potions for ourselves that I'm hoping will aid us. She probably will have some for you as well, I imagine. Or at least something else to help out. She starts to kind of walk off, and she says, "It was nice chatting with you two, and hopefully we'll see more of you around, and whether here or elsewhere." So as she walks, Boot is standing there, and most of the time while she's been talking, he's kind of been staring Yavari down.
Okay. She's just like a mean mug. She's just like, and what of it? What of it?
And he walks up to her, not like too close, but just like a step closer, and he sniffs. And he says,
Excuse me.
and he says,
personal space.
he doesn't respond to that, but all he says is, "You smell of magic, girl."
Yeah, funny story about that one. She doesn't continue. That's all she says.
Funny story about that one.
Narcella's pipes up suddenly, more just to Yavari under his breath. He's saying that you smell.
You're stinky.
You stink.
Oh,
Take the power, stinky.
Many of the guilds suggest a calamity is on the horizon, and he reaches into a little pouch at his side, and he pulls out what appears to be a bracelet, made of like silver, very simple in design, with a pale white gem set in the center, and he hands it out to Yavari, and he says, "Keep this. It will help you detect large amounts of anima that could be detrimental to your health."
Taffy, lead the way.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
But yeah, so you guys come up to the house. There's just one guard posted outside of it, just kind of standing there, by himself. And as he sees you all approach, he says, you must have been sent over by the mayor."
Yeah, we're here to inspect the house. Have you guys been in it yet?
Well, we tried, and he kind of glances back towards the door, and you can see that it is ajar. There seems to be bloodstains on the floor, and he clears his throat and he says, "Well, we opened the door, and there was a trap awaiting us. My friend, Greg,
Greg. Damn it, Greg.
my pal Greg kind of went in before really thinking about it and took a couple crossbow bolts to the shoulder. He's fine, but I definitely keep an eye out for anything else in there."
If he feels like it's, slowly feel out with his hands while he's on the floor to see if there's anything that's pressure plated. Look for trip wires. Take a glance around the ceiling, make sure anything's not hooked up to like swing down. Okay. Obvious stuff like that.
All right. Yeah, just go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
He rolls a -1 somehow. Uh-oh.
I'd be very concerned.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Nice.
I was a little worried there for a minute.
I know. I was like,
All right, so 17. All right, so as you approach the door, Taffy, you see, you take a moment to look at the door and inspect it, and you do see now the very slim, very hard to see wires that were attached to it. They are slack now, since the trap has been tripped by the guard who came in. And you follow it upwards, and you see there is indeed a crossbow just attached to the ceiling and aimed,
Dang.
Pretty much at the door. But it appears, from what you can see, it is out of bolts, so that is safe at least.
Tove is gonna move over to the table and kind of like investigate these little papers over here. See if there's anything important written on them or nefarious.
All right, so you kind of look through the papers and, do you like take the time to read everyone, or are you just kind of like skimming through to see if there's anything like interesting?
It's more of like a skim.
Okay, so yeah, you kind of skim through them, and the first top ones seem to be just like lists of items. You can only assume maybe like shipments or just keeping maybe track of some sort of inventory or something. There's all sorts of things, from weapons to paintings to linens and rugs that are mentioned, and usually at the bottom there's a price with really no explanation, as well as a name. Prices varying anywhere from 50 gold, and you see one that seems to even be up to 500. But past that, past the inventory and all that, there are some... Oh gosh. There's some letters written there as well. They're written... You understand the letters, but you can't seem to understand the words themselves. They seem to mostly be written in some sort of code that you can't quite decipher.
Can anybody read code stuff? Taffy, do you know how to do things with codes? You're really good with like padlocks. Isn't that kind of the same thing?
Let me take a look at it. I don't suppose this thing has been written in Thieves' Cant, has it? Basically, it's a bunch of jargon that doesn't, like, it seems like a sentence, but it's like unrelated to anything that's going on. It's basically a language thieves use to sort of talk to each other, like words have different meanings, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. So there's some of them that are referring to the movement of stolen goods, and setting up rendezvous with certain people or offense in, neighboring towns or Valgard. There's a couple that seem to be more reports probably sent to Sturkin from other members, describing difficulties they've had with certain jobs. Really nothing that you see that's related to the assassination attempt. Yeah, that's really about it. There's really nothing particularly specific in these.
To ask their opinion, like, this great axe is super light. Anything seem off to it to you guys?
And the sword and daggers, you notice, even the daggers weigh more than this great axe.
Oh my god.
They weigh like proper daggers. So yeah, you get you pick up the 2 daggers, the short sword, and the weirdly light great axe.
All right.
There has to be more to this house, especially with that trap setup. Because why would Sturkin leave a trap like nothing here?
Sorry, you scoop up all the gold and you get 35 gold pieces.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He puts his crude drawing on the table and he's looking at it. And then you see him scan around the room. And he's like, and he looks back to his drawing. He looks back to the room. He looks back to the drawing. And he's like, oh. So he kind of comes on over here, and then he's patting down the wall, right? Mm-hmm. He's checking the walls, see if there's any loose bricks, if he can push in anything. He he kind of, if he has to move these pots out of the way, he'll kind of scoot them. Maybe the big one he kind of has to scooch across the floor, but he keeps pressing on the wall, seeing if he can't find anything.
All right. So as you go along, pressing on the wall, don't really find anything. You push the pots out of the way, and the big one kind of takes you a minute. It's fairly heavy, but you manage to shove that out of the way enough that you can kind of get between it and the wall. And as you do so, you press against the part of the wall that, most of the wall is stone, but this part was made of wood paneling. And you press against it, and it creaks as it gives open just a little bit.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, he'll be very careful.
I
So
was
oh, sorry.
Right.
I
Oh,
was right.
Tove was just saying she was right.
Well, yeah, that was it's a good call there, Tove. So when we say open, is it like a door or a hatch, or is it like?
Yeah, it's like opening kind of like a door would.
Ah, okay. He's going to be very careful, get down on his knees and check to see if there's a tripwire.
Give me an investigation check.
Uh-oh. Oh, man. And that's intimidate. That's not investigate. There we go.
Yes, intimidate.
Intimidate the trap. You better
Intimidate
think
the
twice.
wall to just
Oh.
crumble.
Ooh, dirty.
Oh, they.
Oh, nice.
Next one.
Man, I'm going to
Nice.
suck in combat here. I'm blowing all my
Yeah.
good rolls.
So you investigate in the doorway. You kind of poke your eye, like poke in. Not really poke in, but like you look. You investigate, and you do see at the very bottom of the door there is a tiny little tripwire, much like the one that was
Oh,
at
man.
the front door.
Ooh, can I follow it up to see what it's attached to, or can I not see without tripping it?
But you can't see what it is hooked up to.
Okay. So he's going to try and disable it without setting it off. If it's a tripwire, so it's either a tension tripwire, or if you step on, if you cut it, it's fine, or it's one of these where it's like you trip it and it unhooks itself and you go zipping across the room. A
Yeah.
dex check. So he's gonna basically be like, all right, guys, you might want to stand back a little bit. This could be messy. Just a raw dex check.
Yeah.
Okay. And not a saving throw, just a check. Okay.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh.
So Taffy, you go to disarm the trap. And as you do, you're trying to just cut the wire, with like a blade or something.
Yeah,
like
he's
that,
got a
whatever you
dagger.
got. Yeah, trying to cut it with your dagger. And it seems like your dagger doesn't quite cut it, and it ends up pulling the wire,
Shit.
and you hear something click.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Meanwhile,
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh no.
appearance here.
Oh.
The music is probably way too loud. So you walk inside and you see just immediately shelves upon shelves lined with potion bottles, with books, with maps hung up on the wall.
Oh, this is too cool.
There are dangling like crystals and bits and bobs and thingamajigs dangling from the wall and the ceiling. There seem to be enchanted weapons like leaning up against some of the shelves. It's cluttered, but it's very well organized. And in the center of the room stands a sturdy desk made of wood, and you see a tiefling standing behind there. Ah, welcome in to the secret spire. What may I... Oh, is that a familiar face I see as she's looking over at Yavari?
Ivar kind of looks a little embarrassed by the introduction. She's like, "Hi, it's been a while. How are you?"
Oh, doing just fine, you know. Enjoying myself out here in the country as she works on like cleaning up the little herb she'd been working on. And who's this friend you have with
Yeah.
you?
Oh, this is Nurse Alice. He's a friend, as you said. She hesitates to call him a friend, but
Damn.
but she like reaches out and pats him on the shoulder, rather gently, to either A, get his attention, or just B, appear as if they're like buddy like that. But he doesn't talk much.
In that exact moment, he realizes that it's one of those times when he has to decide between being good and staying quiet, or actively biting the fingers off of the hand that has touched his shoulder.
Oh no.
But he reaches up and he plucks her hand from his shoulder by her wrist and sort of throws it off of him like a little wrist flourish,
Oof.
as though he's dusting her off.
Wow.
Addressing the other tiefling, he says, "Yeah, she dragged me here, saying that you would be the one to tell me about what's going on in that forest. I'm sure you know the one. Well, it's also just not completely uncommon, as I'm sure you know, having studied magic yourself, for elves to be more attuned to anima in the first place. Unlike you tiefling."
Ivari rolls her eyes so hard they almost pop out of her head.
So as you're recounting your story, as you're explaining to her, your travel into the forest and all of that, she's, leaning on her desk, her arms folded on top of it with her chin resting in one hand. And she's thoughtful about it, and she doesn't interrupt as Narcellis has a couple of things to say, simply just raising her eyebrows at him, but just ignores the tiefling comment. But she does say, "Yes, that is true. I have always heard elves are much more sensitive to the anima in the world, so I cannot entirely blame you for having such a reaction. Such an odd coincidence, I suppose, that I just had two others in here asking me for the same thing, saying that they experienced severe headaches and nausea as soon as they stepped foot in that forest. I did sell them a couple of my potions of iron will. I believe I do still have more laying about. And she looks between the two of you. Is this all in your party, or are there more?"
"No, we would need enough for about 6 of us."
6 of you? As she kind of tilts her head to one side. I'll have to see what I have, and she'll kind of start to rummage around in a couple of her drawers, and you hear bottles clinking together in that. And as she goes, she'll kind of continue speaking. That forest hasn't always been that way. I've only been out here a few years myself, but from what I understand from the locals, the effects of this anima have really only been a problem within the last 5 years or so, I believe. They say before it wasn't really much of a problem.
Narcellis will reach into his bag and take one of the small mushrooms that he took from the forest, and he'll kind of offer it out in his hand and say, This was part of the area where we originally got sick. Think you can do anything with it, or can you possibly try to see how much the anima is affecting the area?"
Oh my, this certainly is no ordinary mushroom, as she gently plucks it from your hands and kind of turns it around, looking at it carefully. I think I can make something do with this. I am short on my other potions that would normally help with such effects, but I might be able to get something out of this if you could give me until tomorrow. I should have something made up for you.
Do you have anything that might help to amplify our powers? I mean, we're here on business from the mayor, but we did bring gold.
Feel free to take a look. These are all enchanted to help focus your spellcasting, as I can only assume that is what your circlet there is used for. Alright, so there's one dagger by itself, and then you see another dagger is actually paired with another one. The first dagger is slender with like a very slim blade, and the blade itself, while probably made of common steel, has kind of like a greenish tint to it. And as you inspect them, Valza will say, be careful with that one. That is enchanted with venom upon it. Even touching the blade could very well poison you.
Cool.
Oh. Lovely that you have it out open for display. Balza. Very, very safe.
Of course. Only the safest here in my shop. And then after that, she points to the couple of other daggers, which are much smaller and appear more to be like throwing daggers than something you would use, in your hand. And she says, these are throwing daggers of returning. They're actually enchanted to come back to you.
Ooh. Very interesting. Are there any other daggers, or just the three that she has out on display right now?
Just those.
How much are the throwing daggers?
Great question. How much are the daggers? Valza thinks on it for a moment, and she says, well, considering you are helping the mayor and you're trying to do a good deed for everyone, I'd sell you both of them for 30 gold.
30 gold?
Normally I'd charge 50.
I'll take the 30. I fished the gold out of my cloak, out of some random pocket I have, hearing a little squeak as I accidentally poke into Nibbles. Like, sorry,
no.
Nibbles.
Not nipples.
Nibbles.
Poor nipples.
Nibbles. I pat the pocket Nibbles was in apologetically and hand her the 30 gold.
Excellent. Thank you very much. As she takes the gold from you, and she'll, take the daggers carefully off of the wall, taking off any little tags on it to mark it as hers before handing them over to you. Oh, is there anything else I could do for you, dear?
Yavari thinks for a moment, looks back at Nershalis, and kind of leans forward even more, like as if she doesn't want Nershalis to hear her ask. Balza, so how's Tiva doing? Been a hot minute since I've... Well, obviously she doesn't say a hot minute. But...
Hot minute.
A hot minute. It's been a while since I've talked to her.
Well, she's been holding in there. I haven't seen much of her the last time I was in Idavoll, but, she does mention you quite often still. She's worried about you,
Just nods. I let her down once again. I doubt she would want to see me after what happened.
Oh, don't say that. I'm sure she would. You should really go to see her the next time you're near Idavoll.
Oh, well, as I recall, I'm not exactly welcome in the city anymore. And she was a little louder than she should have.
Oh, I'm sure it's fine. I mean, it's been so long, She like laughs nervously.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that. Thank you for your time. It has been so lovely seeing you again.
Of course, you as well, and you and your group, I hope, will be careful in the forest. But yes, I will have those potions ready for you tomorrow. Plan. So, as you are attempting to disarm this trap, the wire doesn't quite cut on your dagger, and
I need a new dagger.
yeah, right.
Luckily,
Get dull.
Just cut the red wire.
Yeah.
I cut the wrong one.
Oh my goodness. So, alright. So as you do that, the wire catches and you hear a click sound, and
Oh no.
let's see.
You just hear a sigh from Taffy. It's like right before moments before disaster.
So as you hear the click, the door of its own accord seems to swing open, and you hear multiple like clicks in a row, 2 of them, as all of a sudden a crossbow shoots you, and you take 5 piercing damage
Ugh.
from the crossbow. And as that happens,
That's rough, bro.
That's rough,
yeah,
bro.
honestly.
Yeah.
Poor
Just,
Taffy.
right in the shoulder, and he's like, ah.
Ah.
Just makes a groan. Hey guys, I disarmed the trap.
and now with the door fully swung open, you see that there is indeed a staircase that leads down into a small other room. I'm kind of keeping an eye out for anything else suspicious, but thankfully that seems to be it. And you make your way down into basically a pitch black room. There is like no light in here whatsoever.
Yes, Taffy does have a hooded lantern, which he will once it gets dark, he will actually light it up.
Nice. Make sure they don't trip down the stairs.
Yeah, make sure they don't trip down the stairs.
Right. Excellent. Okay. So yeah, you do have at least some light as you're going down. Yeah, it is a very tiny, a very cramped room. Probably meant just to be like a storage space more than anything. There's like a couple of crates stacked in one corner, like a couple of like flour sacks in the other. You see against one wall, there are a couple of canvases, or paintings, I really should say. A couple of paintings like leaned against the wall. They're very like detailed, very beautiful paintings that you can only assume Sturkin probably did not paint these himself. He didn't give you the painterly type vibes. But on top of one of the crates next to the stairs, you see there is another piece of paper with like a dagger stuck into it.
All right, let's see what we got here. Crows, I am severely disappointed with your attempts so far. Consider this your final payment. If I do not hear news of the Queen's death within the next fortnight, I will stain my blade with your blood before taking matters into my own hands. I hope, for your sake, it does not come to that. Captain Redsteel. The crows, huh? Would Taffy know anything about the crows?
With all of your guild knowledge, it does not ring any bells.
Okay. It's like Captain Redsteel, Captain Redsteel. I've heard that before. Where have I heard that before? I think it was the Swift Cloaks? I think he's the guy that took over the Swift Cloaks. So, in the jail, did you guys happen to have, a neighbor, or were you in a jail with a tiefling?
There was somebody there who was talking, but
we didn't really get to see who it was. Why are you asking?
Well, let's just say the rumor mill has been spinning, and, well, the Swift Cloaks used to be run by a certain someone named, Femia. Unfortunately, rumors circulating is that something happened to her. Maybe around Drake Guard or something like that, but she used to run the Swiftcloak Guild, and the last I heard, it was taken over by someone named Captain Redsteel. And if this letter is an indication, we may have a bigger problem on our hands.
Right, so you're saying the leader of the Swift Cloaks is trying to kill the queen?
Yeah, and they're hiring whoever this Crows person is, or this Crows gang, to go and do their dirty work. We have a chain of organized crime going on here, and that ain't good. I don't know anything about the Crows, but the Swift Cloaks, they're a protection guild. They are armed to the teeth. Messing with them is going to be a problem.
I think we should go back into town and find the others. If we're going to make any decisions about what we're going to do, we're all going to have to be on the same page about it, especially now that we know the Swift Cloaks are involved.
Yep. We also don't want to let them know that we know, because they may decide we're a problem, and I don't want to be their problem. At least not yet. And he's sitting there like, oh, man, I need to talk to Femia. And he kind of just buries his face in his hand, like his offhand, like, because he's thinking to himself like, ah, shit, I just let her run away.
Yep.
Oh boy.
All right, as Taffy goes to, take down the crossbows and take them with him, you guys open up the crates and kind of look around through what's in them. A couple contain, like, some dried food and some goods, like, clearly meant to be rations for, a fairly long time. There's, like, one crate you open that has, just what kind of seems like a bunch of random, like, miscellaneous knickknacks in it, but they all look to be made of, like, silver or gold, but stuff that you'd expect to find on, like, as decorative little pieces, like, on the wall or, like, on shelves and things like that. So there's some of that in there. There's maybe another crate of some, what you think at first to be weapons, like a couple of short swords and, like, maybe some, another crossbow. But they're heavily, like, rusted and damaged, so it's clear that they are very old and worn. Yeah, otherwise there's really just nothing else of interest in the crates. Or anything.
Okay. Can Arca take a look at those paintings?
Yes, so there are two of them. One of them is maybe about, like, half as tall as Arca and about, like, 2 feet wide, whereas the other is a much larger canvas, probably about as tall as he is. The smaller one is done in a very, how would you describe? A very, like, ethereal style. Like, it's very abstract with light brushstrokes and lots of light colors. And looking at it, it's a little kind of hard to see in the dark, even with the help of Taffy's lantern. I wanted to keep saying tavern for some reason.
Taffy's Tavern.
Taffy's Tavern. Help of his tavern. With the help of his lantern, it's still kind of hard to make out a lot of the finer details. But it kind of gives you the feeling of kind of a painting meant to represent something, like, divine or something not really of the material world, but it's, kind of just a very abstract kind of painting. The one behind it is of scenery of a place that Arca is quite familiar with. It's one
Oh.
of the karsts of Aket. Done from a distance, kind of meant to capture like the towering spires and the way that like the fog kind of clings to them despite the desert being not far away. It's a very just nice painting, almost very photorealistic. Definitely probably a different style, a different painter. Just done very nicely to kind of definitely reminds you of home.
Yeah. Okay. He takes note of those paintings. Kind of stares at the one of the cars for quite a while. Seems to be deep in thought. You can't really tell what he's thinking, but he seems suddenly slightly somber, actually.
Oh.
But just kind of looks away from the paintings again.
Taffy.
Taffy yells down the stairs, "Make sure you grab the paintings. We need them
Okay.
for, evidence."
Okay, then he goes ahead and grabs the paintings.
Awesome. It's
Just, you
they're,
can
they're
just...
they're large and bulky, but you'll probably make it work. It's fine.
We
It's
have an
fine.
Arca with us. It's easy peasy.
They heard.
Oh, was someone about to say something there? I guess not. It sounded like someone like tried to say something and then cut out.
Oh no, I'm screaming at my chat.
Oh. Okay, then Tove, did you have or Tove, I'm sorry. I mean Tove, are you good? She's just
Tove's great. She's just noting that there's some stealing going on, but honestly, she doesn't feel bad about it because it's Sturkin.
He deserves it.
He does.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Are we gonna go?
we
Are
head
we
out?
good?
Yeah. I'd say we've got everything of interest.
I think so.
Yeah, so you guys are gonna head out then back to Drake Mound?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Alright. Awesome. And then as you guys leave, the guard sees you all leaving and notes Arca carrying the paintings. Kind of like gives you a weird look.
Taffy makes finger guns like, "We gotta study these. You never know." Found some encoded notes in there. Sometimes, people of the illicit career path hide things in the paintings like this. Gotta search it over, make sure that there's nothing embedded in it.
Sure. Yeah. He doesn't seem to completely believe it, but he just lets you guys go. He's like, all right, just get on. Just go.
It's like, "Thank you very much. Doing an excellent job out here. We appreciate everything. Tell Greg, I hope he makes a speedy recovery."
Will do. So he takes up his post back at the door. Excellent. All right, so you guys head on back to town. I have to drag the little tab over here. Promise it's still nighttime, even though it doesn't look like it. So, all right. So, excellent. Well then, Yavari and Narcellis, I guess you guys had left the potion seller's shop with a few goods and the promise of your potions for going into the forest in the morning. What are you guys doing now?
Damn, I should have asked her to sell me her strongest potion.
Thinking of that too.
Shit.
Rip.
Next time.
Yeah.
Next time. You've already...
I would like to meet up back with the others
Mhm.
personally and see about maybe going around town asking about, things that we should know, hitting up the shop.
Well, how late is it?
It's probably only a little bit after sunset, so there is still some of the dying light of, the setting sun over the town. And despite it being so late, it's still fairly lively. Mostly near like the tavern and some of the shops they're probably getting ready to wind down for the night, but they're still open, still hanging about. But I hope that answers your question.
We're
I
gonna be
think
the
you
people
are.
that walk in the. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we're gonna be the people that walk in at closing time.
Like 5 minutes
I'm
before.
I'm done with this session. I cannot. I retail hell. I cannot.
Retail
Yeah,
hell.
right. For real.
Oh.
All right, so then you guys will head towards the tavern. So I think that's kind of where you guys like agreed upon meeting up. We'll just say it probably was. And then as you head out towards the tavern, we've got, let's see who we have here. I'm just gonna kind of plop you guys down here. All right, so yeah, as you head for the tavern, the rest of your friends arrive in the town square. You see that Arca is carrying some paintings for some reason. And you're pretty sure Taffy didn't have those extra 2 crossbows before, but it's probably fine.
It's probably fine.
It's probably fine. It might be bleeding
Only
a little still,
probably. Is that blood?
Just a little bit. Don't worry about it. I'm sure just a good night's rest, and I'll be right as rain in the morning. We found some interesting things in Sturkin's house. I would be more than willing to go, or we would here in just a moment. But if I could borrow my big and strong Arca friend over here, if you could, and he just like pats him on the back, like just for a few minutes, and then I could continue on to our wonderful tavern meeting.
Oh, of course.
Anyone else? I'm gonna wait for anyone else that wants to respond.
Yafari just shrugs and be like, do what you want.
He's
So, Arca
sorry.
walk though.
Don't worry. It'll be just a second. I appreciate you guys. With that, he does kind of beckon Arca to follow him over here for a minute.
Alright. Arca follows him.
Okay. We're gonna go say hi to our friend Gwen over here.
Alright.
Nice.
Smug guy.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's not asleep.
It's fine. But yeah, as you guys go over to Gwen's house, Narcellis, I don't know if you guys have anything you'd like to say or do. As your other 2 party members run away.
Wee.
Oh, did you guys find anything interesting?
Well, we tried to see if my contact knew what was going on, and even this magic is quite strange compared to the usual anima you see in our day-to-day life. Well, what do you think, Nars?
Honestly, we won't know much more until we actually get there. But we're going to have to wait until the potions are ready.
This is
Oh.
true.
So we're waiting on potions?
Apparently, something about potions of iron will. Supposedly, they're going to make it easier for us to traverse the forest.
Doubt.
Listen, Tove doesn't trust anything when it comes to this weird anima stuff.
Aw, poor Tove.
Ballad of Tove.
The Ballad of Tove.
The
Tove's like,
trees
"Listen."
the trees look awful, and it scares Tove as a cleric of nature. So
It's like, this ain't right, man.
Yuvari does take out her 2 daggers of... What are they called again? Daggers of Return?
Yeah.
ooh.
And shows Tove, look what I got! You throw them, and they return like a boomerang.
Those are
You actually
so
throw
cool.
one?
Yes, I'll throw one at this tree right here. Away from the townsfolk.
You find out the exact distance, and then you throw one at a townsfolk, and it returns right before it hits them.
Oh,
Alright, so you just make a dexterity check for me.
oh god.
It's
Okay.
fine.
Oh, okay, not bad.
We have advantage on, but it's fine. You rolled the same thing anyways. You're good. Alright, so yeah, 18. So you throw the dagger and it, spins through the air and clunk, like buries itself into the tree's trunk. But it stays there.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
well, I just bought it like a few minutes ago. We're gonna figure out the mechanics of this thing,
you have
and
to,
it's gonna
like,
be great.
Summon it, or is there like a summoning spell? Do you have to call it
You know,
back to you?
That is a great question. I should have asked my
think-
friend before I bought
I
it.
think I see why these are 30 gold.
Marcellus suddenly puts his hand to his mouth and just goes, ha ha, that's what you get for casting detect magic.
Wait, can I cast detect magic on it?
If
Or
you'd like.
identify?
You can.
Yeah.
I still have one in my hand. I'll just go ahead and use identify.
Identify. Can you just link that for me? Excellent. Let's see. Okay. Cool. All right. While you're doing that, Narshalis, did you have something else you'd like to say?
No, he can't breathe.
That's fair. So you
You
cast
little
identify. You cast identify, and as you kind of get a read for the dagger, it is enchanted. As far as you can tell, they are daggers of returning, but there's something weird about it. As the sense you get is that you don't really need to say anything or do anything to get it to come back. It just seems to need time. They're more like daggers of returning eventually.
Oh my god,
Uh-oh.
Well,
can hit
maybe
somebody.
I want a refund.
No, you don't understand.
Back on someone.
We could have the greatest scam market ever. You want some daggers? We'll sell them for you 10 gold. Give them over, and then we wait like however long, and then bam, get it back.
Ivar is storms up to the tree, snatches the dagger, and she's already headed back to Paul's. She's I'm gonna have a chat with this woman.
Oh,
Excuse
no.
me.
Meanwhile, Narcellus is dying, and Tove is now also laughing so hard he's like doubled over.
Oh no.
Oh, wait. I can actually do that. Hold on. There he goes.
He just fucking falls over.
I mean, yeah, look, it's like, oh my god. I mean, it's still magic dagger. You can get through that magic DR with it, you know.
Yeah.
You stab a ghost with it or something.
Well, Yuvari's being utterly humiliated by her team member. She just like bangs on the
There needs to be revenge.
Well,
door.
Meanwhile, Narcellus is going to look at Tove and go, well, while she gets that taken care of, I'm going to go to the armor shop and get something that actually works. Are you coming?
Ooh.
Sure, I'll tag along. So Tove just follows him.
Oh boy. Alright, you guys head off to the armor shop. And then Taffy and Arca is there. Well, actually no, before I get to you, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
So real quick, Yavari. So you go back to Val's shop, you bang on the door, insisting that she come out and speak with you, and you go to like push it open, but it's locked. And there does seem to be a close sign now hung on the door.
Damn.
She knew.
Alpha? You sneaky old hack!
She's moving shop. She's scammed and scooted.
You gonna join some more. She's so pissed off. She's like, just wait until she sees me tomorrow. I'm gonna give her a piece of my mind. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh man.
And she just kind of like, she takes the daggers, but she's not happy about it. And she almost contemplates trying to find an opening in the house to throw a dagger inside. Give her some time, that's what. But she doesn't. She's just like, oh, I'm gonna go to the tavern. I'm gonna get a drink. I'm so tired of this.
Stupid bullshit. Like, God, yeah. Giving me shitty ass daggers.
I wonder it was only 30 gold.
No wonder it's like 30 gold.
So you march back angrily to catch up with Narcellus. Oh, or are you just going to the tavern? You storm past Narcellus and Tove and just go to the tavern.
She's getting a drink.
He's gonna get
Needs
a
like
the
I need-
alcohol.
Yeah.
As Yavari passes, I think he has to hold his breath to stop from just laughing.
Yeah. Sounds right. But alright, as she goes, so Arca and Taffy, is there, anything in particular you do? You're coming over here you do knock on Gwen's door. He does open it, albeit looking like a little like tired, he's like, what do you want, Taffy?
My friend, hey, yes, sorry for bothering you so late at night, but probably gonna be having to get out of town doing a scoot in the morning. By the way, thank you so much for handling all the those wanted posters. Did appreciate that. By the way, just had a quick question. My very large friend here has a couple of paintings that I'd like you to get a look at and see if you could, you're an influential guy, you got connections. I was wondering if you happen to recognize these, maybe who may have painted them, maybe who may have sold them, or maybe who may have owned them.
And he looks past Taffy over to Arca, and at first he just blinks and stares at Arca like, huh, never seen a bird as tall as you before.
Oh, where are my manners? Gwen, this is Arca. Arca, this is Gwen.
Arca stares back at Gwen and nods in greeting and replies, "Never seen a human as short as you before."
Taffy's like, he tenses up. He's like,
Oh. Gwen just, like, the corner of his eye just twitches, but he doesn't say anything as he instead just kind of peers at the paintings that Arca's holding, and he says, oh, that doesn't look too familiar to me, but I'm sure I can find someone who might know something about him. Paintings aren't really my forte.
Gotcha. Would you prefer we leave them here for you, or come find you when you have a contact for me to talk to?
I mean, you're welcome to leave him here. I doubt your bird friend would like to carry him around all day.
Most appreciated. Arca, if you could so kindly place these in our wonderful friend's house for me.
Alright, Arca, I guess, heads inside and sets down the abstract painting, and then he kind of hesitates at the karst painting, kind of gives it a look again, and then ultimately sets it down. And then heads back out.
Very good. All right, I will see what I can do.
Most
And
appreciated. By
definitely
the
get back.
way, Gwen, what do you happen to know about a little organization called the Crows?
Make an insight check.
Oh. Yeah, just asking. Insight. Ooh, insight. Okay. Damn it. It's almost an 11.
And then, actually, Arca, you're welcome to also roll insight if you would like.
Oh, okay. There we go. Wait, did that work? Oh.
There you go. Ooh, nice. So Taffy, as you ask this question, you don't really notice like any kind of shift in his demeanor. At least anything noticeable. Arca, though, you know, you're kind of hanging out. You're watching him, and you notice there's like a sudden like tension in his shoulders, and his gaze kind of seems to drift past you guys as if he's almost kind of like looking out for anyone who might be nearby, you know, and he leans in a little closer to Taffy and he says, "Oh, what are you doing looking for those guys?"
So Taffy kind of clears his throat. Let's just say they might become a problem. I'd like to be a little bit more prepared.
And he looks around again, and then he clears his throat and he says, not out here in the open.
Gotcha. How about we have a little chat inside? Arca, you're more than willing to to join us if you'd like. But if you would rather go to the tavern, I understand.
Arca pauses. He looks at Gwen with kind of a very scrutinizing stare, because he can tell that Gwen kind of knows what's up. And he steps towards the door. I will join you in this conversation. I'm also curious to hear what's going on.
Excellent. Don't worry, Gwen. I can vouch for Arca personally. Is a very good friend. In fact, even saved my life from some bandits the other day. I'll tell you about it sometime. But don't worry, we can trust him.
All right, if you say so. And kind of looks a little nervously at Arca, but ultimately just, you know, hurries the two of you inside before stepping inside and closing the door behind him.